So water bills are set to rise by an average of £94 over the next 5 years in England and Wales. And we're going to read into this more from The Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Independent with the headline that water bills are to rise by average of £94 over the next 5 years in England and Wales. However, some regions will see greater increases, with Southern water bills rising by £183 or 44%. Now, guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. So I can already see some people saying, this is Labour's fault. They said that they just that this and that. Labour did not say that they weren't going to stop bills going up. They said they were going to improve living standards. This is not improving living standards, Regan. Yes, I'm fully aware that this headline is not something that ordinary people want to see. I'm fully aware of that. However, given the circumstances of how broken our water infrastructure is right now, I understand the needs for this, and I get it. We should not be paying any more in our water bills that we should be doing, and I think that Labour needs to make sure that these rises are reduced as significantly as possible, and that these companies are actually putting in the effort to improve the water infrastructure. Now, it is entirely possible that this may not be completely accurate and that this may be a scaremongering headline. It's entirely possible. But it is also something that we need the water infrastructure to get fixed. Right now, we have a situation where the water companies have been literally pretty much racking up dozens of millions and millions of pounds to their dividends and shareholders, and racking up mountains of debt. Now, we can't obviously buy them out because we would end up with the debt, and nobody wants to be paying back the debts that they have left. Nobody does. It's so frustrating. I know. Is Labour going to pull a rabbit out of the hat with this? I don't think so. But this headline obviously is not a very good sign for an initial Labour government, and maybe, just maybe, they may counteract this with some kind of bill in the future. Perhaps. Like, as of right now, this is what potentially is coming. It is entirely possible that down the road Labour will introduce something to help mitigate the bills in some way, shape or form. May bring forward a Parliament bill or some sort. Maybe. We shouldn't just assume that everyone's bills are going to go up. Let's wait and see. Remember, the King has not had his speech, so they haven't had proper sit down. They haven't even had Prime Minister's questions. Like, there's a lot of things that needs to get going still. So, and I'd like to say that I'm quietly confident that maybe something is going to come about positively, that Labour will not just sit back and allow people's living standards to get worse. But like I say, first 100 days, let's see. Anyway, let's read a little bit more into this, guys, just to try and get our heads around this. So, household water bills are to rise by an average of £94 over the next 5 years under proposals announced by the regulator Ofwat. So, Ofwat said the average rise was 21%, or around £19 per year. However, the increases vary by region, with Southern water rising by £183, an increase of 44%. Now, that feels really harsh. I think it's extremely harsh. Thames Water was seeing an increase of £99 or 23%, and Anglian £66 or 13%. The regulator says water firms propose increases of averaging £144 over 5 years. For example, Thames Water proposed increases of £191 by 2030 has been reduced to £99, while Severn Trent proposed rise of £144 has been cut to £93. So they're saying that they wanted them higher, but Ofwat stopped them going as high as they wanted it to be, allegedly. The proposed bill's increase comes amid public fury around firms' rampant pollution of waterways with sewage bills as they continue to hand dividends to shareholders and bonuses to executives, something which Labour has pledged to clamp down on. Sewage bills into England's rivers and seas more than doubled in 2023. The Environment Secretary Steve Reed has called in the bosses of 16 water firms to outline reforms aimed at ending the crisis in the sector. The government will ensure funding for investment in infrastructure is ring-fenced to ensure it's only spent on upgrades and that benefit customers and the environment. That gives me some encouragement, but it's still not. It gives me some encouragement that the money that people are paying into their water bills will go towards obviously the infrastructure, but there is still a lot of anger still right now, and understandably so. Water companies will also be forced to amend their articles of association to place customers and the environment at the heart of their objectives. Mr. Reid will also instruct Ofwat to give consumers more powers, setting up customer panels through which they can summon water bosses to answer questions. And the government will more than double the amount of compensation for those whose services are interrupted or eligible for. Mr. Reid said, "We will never look the other way while water companies pump sewage into our rivers, lakes and seas. This unacceptable destruction of our waterways should never have been allowed, but change has now begun and it can never happen again." Today I have announced significant steps to clean up the water industry, to cut sewage pollution, protect customers and attract investment to upgrading its crumbling infrastructure. The change will take time. Like I said, time it will. It's true. Over coming weeks and months, this government will outline further steps to reform the water sector and restore our rivers, lakes, and health to good sea. It will take years for the sewage to get cleaned up, guys. It will take years. We must be patient with that. Ofwat has said they will impose a turnaround oversight regime on Thames Water, with heavily indebted Thames, which has 16 million customers across London and Thames Valley, to have fully reevaluated its current turnaround strategy under the regulator's measures. It will also be made to publish a separate finance resilient plan. While Ofwat is also considering appointing a so-called independent monitor to report on the company's progress, the independent monitor would have full access to the company's financial information, what Ofwat said. Ooh, that would be very good. That would be very, very good. Thames will also have to provide delivery action plan outlining how it intends to improve its performance on sewage spills and leakage, which has been amount to the worst in the industry in recent years. Thames is in grips of a funding crisis that has more than 15 billion in debt. It said this week that it only has enough money to continue trading until the end of May 2025. Yeah, I'm sure something will be figured out there. Bosses are scrambling to secure a major cash injection to keep it afloat, and they've held talks with both existing shareholders and outside investors, but Chief Executive Chris Winston said on Tuesday that the investment is dependent on Thames securing a final regulatory determination that is investable. If Thames does not succeed on getting the funding, it faces the prospect of being temporarily nationalised by the government and being placed in a form of special administration, meaning the taxpayer would take on the cost of the heavy loss-making water giant. And not that we should... that debt must not in any way, shape or form be paid by taxpayers. Not a single penny. Ofwat's proposed bill rises can be challenged by the water funds and the measures against Thames, with a final determination due at the end of the year. The regulator proposed following firms' suggestions to increase their total spending by 29 billion, split between a 5 billion increase, and in the core costs for running their business, and a 24 billion rise in spending to meet the requirements set by government and for other environmental improvements. Ofwat Chief Executive David Black said that customers want to see radical changes in the way that water companies care for the environment. Our draft decisions on company plan to approve a tripling of investment to make sustained improvements to the customer service and the environment at a fair price for consumers. These proposed aims to deliver a 44% reduction in spills for storms overflows compared to levels in 2021. We expect all companies to embrace innovation and go further and faster to reduce spills whenever possible. Today's announcement also increased the resilience of our water supply to the impact of climate change, and we will reduce how much water is taken from rivers and enabling a range of long-term water supply projects, which include plans for 9 reservoirs. Yeah, I've heard some of this obviously before. Obviously, whether it will obviously come into fruition is obviously time will tell. Let me be very clear to water companies. We will closely scrutinise the delivery of their plans, and we will hold them to account to deliver real improvements to the environment and for customers to hold on to their investment programmes. Mike Key, the Chief Executive of Consumer Council for Water, CCW, said millions of people will feel upset and anxious at the prospect of these water bills rising and question the fairness of them given some water companies' track record of failure and poor service. And he's exactly right to say this. Many people will feel, why are Labour not doing something about this? This is what people will be saying. Customers understand investment is urgently needed, but they need reassurances that every pound of their money is going to be well spent. The proposals are set for the 2024 price review, that's PR24, and cover the period from the 1st of April 2025 to 31st of March 2030. Ofwat said its scrutiny of companies' cost proposals to ensure they deliver efficiency had led to a £16 billion reduction. According to the Environmental Agency, there were 3.6 million household spills last year, equal to about 400 years, compared with 175 million hours in 2022. The large amount of water lost to leaks in the system also raises widespread concerns, particularly in dry periods when the consumers face hose pipe bans. The Press Association has also contributed to this report as well, just for adding info there. Yeah, there's also, that was a very good reminder there as well. It's about all the leaks. Because of some of these pipes that are so old and that, there's obviously been a lot of water that has sadly been wasted as well as a result of the poor infrastructure not being done as well. There's going to be a huge amount of infrastructure and upgrades that are going to be needed to our water companies. However, obviously, it's really, really important that if these water bill rises are going to happen, which I don't think they should, in my opinion, but people will say, well, Regan, what else are they? Where are they going to get the money from? Because there is no magic money tree, I suppose, is what people will say. They have to ensure that every single penny of these increases goes towards the improving the infrastructure infrastructure. We have to see that change. We have to see that change. And I generally hope that down the line, I don't know when, but they need to get these water companies, I don't care how they do it, they need to get them out of private hands. They need to be put back into public ownership. These water companies should not, in any way, shape or form, be in the hands of private companies. We should not be turning our water into capitalism and trying to create some kind of market. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. I'll keep saying it till the cows come home. We should never have privatized our water companies. The decision to do that was absolutely disgraceful. It should never have happened in the first place. And the fact that we've had situations recently where people could not use their tap water because of potential something in their water systems is absolute nothing short of disgraceful. Considering we're supposed to be one of the biggest economies in the world, one of the wealthiest countries on the planet, it's pretty embarrassing to say the least, you know. But what do you guys make of this? What do you guys make of the water bills that are set to rise? What are your thoughts about Labour making sure that will a Labour government make sure that if these bills do come to pass and they do rise, do you think that Labour will make sure every single penny goes in towards improving infrastructure? Do you think they will make changes to Ofwat to ensure that Ofwat are keeping on top of them, and that this independent regulator obviously will hold these water companies to account? Let me know what you think about all of this and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or you can join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.